For the best value in domain names, look no further than Namecheap, where you could get domains for as low as $3.98. Plus, get 1 year of WhoIsGuard privacy protection for free. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. In our modern age of gaming, I think a lot of people, for the most part, who has been around in gaming for a long time, would agree that the graphic quality, graphics with all the 3D GPUs that we have nowadays, there's not a huge difference, in my opinion, in terms of from one generation to another. And that leads me to the subject today, which is 4K gaming and how I feel that it's actually worthless. And let me explain what I mean by that. Just the first thing is what I just mentioned a little bit earlier. When you actually look at the graphical differences between a 4K game and a non-4K game, unless you're really looking for it or unless you have a high-end monitor, it's really difficult to tell the difference. And even then, even if you could tell the difference, it's not a significant difference, okay? Because at these resolutions, our eyes can only take in so much information in terms of resolution and detail. Okay, so I would argue that for the majority of people, unless you are a really serious gamer who has ultra high resolution screens and who cares about every single frame, then okay, then maybe that'd be important. But I think for the majority of people, if you were to ask them which one looks better, even if they did choose the 4K one, would they say it's significantly better? Probably not. Okay. And that's why I think, like, whenever we think about 4K gaming right now, it's mostly focused on consoles with the Sony PS4 Pro and now with the most recently released Xbox One X. And so that is the first thing. Unlike in the previous days of the gaming era, where if you went from like a Nintendo to like a Super Nintendo, you could definitely tell the difference. Or when you went from a Sega Saturn from a Sega Genesis, yeah, the difference was night and day and so forth. When the PlayStation came out, nothing looked as good as it did. And then the PlayStation 2, the Dreamcast, generation after generation, the hardware has definitely gotten better, but the games that you get have not. Okay, so that is the first thing. I just don't think quality-wise, visual quality, there's not enough difference. The second thing is the fact that you really don't get any real tangible benefits. And what I mean by that is if you actually played a 4K game, after you get over the fact of how high the resolution is and how pretty it is, it doesn't really add anything new to it, whereas something like virtual reality or augmented reality, which I think is where the real innovations will be in gaming, okay, you can tell a difference because it changes the overall gaming experience. Whereas just simply having a high resolution graphics on graphics that already are really good, it doesn't really make any benefits in terms of the whole gaming experience. Okay, so that's the second point of the whole 4K gaming thing. And the final thing is the value proposition, okay? Because if you think about 4K gaming, it's expensive, at least right now in 2017. It's still very expensive. If you think about having a high-end PC that could truly run 4K games at decent to really high performance frame rates, then you're going to have to spend quite a bit of money, okay? And obviously, if you're on a console, then your costs are lower comparatively. Like you could get a Sony PlayStation Pro for about $400 and then an Xbox One X to $500. And that's still not too bad, especially with the Xbox One X where you're getting true 4K in certain games. But once again, that's still expensive for a lot of people. And then if you also think about the additional costs of you actually having to buy maybe a 4K TV for sure to take advantage of this 4K resolution. And for the PC, it's pretty much you're going to be spending a lot of money anyway if you are a serious PC gamer, okay? And then with 4K gaming, there are other, I would say, disadvantages, okay, with having 4K gaming at least this point. The biggest thing is the actual size of the files. Okay, I mean, it's not weird, at least at this point, to see 4K game downloads reach past 50 to even 100 gigs for some games. And considering storage space is very limited, especially on the consoles, 100 gig download just to get 4K textures is absolutely crazy. You know, that means you can only fit about maybe 10 games with a 1 terabyte hard drive, and then that would mean you would have to get external drives, and that adds to the cost. And then it's also the cost of your internet service provider. Okay, so if you had to download 100 plus gigs just to get the 4K gaming experience, then you might hit data caps, or it could take a very long time for you to download depending on your internet speeds and depending on which country you live in. You know, and also there's the matter of, you know, you having to buy extra storage. Okay, so that's another cost. And so those are some of the things that I could think of right off the bat, you know, where 4K gaming, number one, it just really doesn't add anything appreciably different in terms of resolution. Secondly, it really, and most importantly, does not add anything new to the overall gaming experience. And then finally, at this point, it's expensive in many different ways. Okay, and it also requires more things, more time mostly out of you. And you know, that's not something that I want in my gaming experience, because even with modern gaming right now, even a non 4K experience, you know, you're gonna have to do a lot of downloads. You have to wait. You know, it's not like the old days where you could just pop in the game and play it, you know. And now if you add in the whole 4K portion of it, it's even longer for you to actually get into the game and actually play. So those are my thoughts on 4K gaming and why I feel it is worthless. If you had any thoughts on this, whether good or bad, be sure to leave it in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, leave a like and subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/Geek Outdoors. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.